everyone, I'm Kelly from Culikid, and today we're going to make hummus-crusted chicken. So before we get started, we'll make sure we have all of our ingredients and supplies. So for our ingredients, we'll use 4 breasts of chicken, 3 zucchinis, some hummus, 1 lemon, some cooking spray and olive oil, salt and pepper, and paprika. And for our supplies, we'll use a cutting board and a knife, a spoon, and a baking sheet and a bowl. So let's get started. Now before we cook, we always make sure we wash our hands, so take a minute to do that if you haven't yet. And we also want to make sure that we rinse off our produce. So if you haven't done that, make sure you wash your produce off under water. And now we will preheat our ovens to 450 degrees so it warms up while we cook. And next we will prep our pan so it's ready for our ingredients. So we want to put some nonstick cooking spray so it doesn't stick to the bottom. So we'll take our pan and hold our cooking spray out nice and even and just give it a nice coat across the bottom. And we'll put this to the side over here. Now we will cut our zucchini. So we want to cut them into half moon shapes. So to do that, we're going to cut off the edges of our zucchinis. And then we're going to stand it up and cut down the middle. And we'll put both halves flat on the cutting board, and you can cut them individually or together into slices. Okay, so we have some slices about this thick, and we want to cut them all the same size so they cook the same. So like I said, you can cut them individually like this, or you can line up both and cut them at the same time. And as you'll remember, if you've done cooking classes with us before, we're always going to make sure we're holding our knife safely and properly like this. And with this other hand, we're holding our food, but we don't want to get our fingers in the way, so we bend them underneath, kind of like a bear claw, and hold them with the tips of your fingers bent under. And as you cut, move your hands back so they're not in the way of the knife. And when you're done cutting, you can take all of your zucchini pieces and put them into your bowl. And we'll do the same for the next 2 zucchinis. And now we're going to take a little bit of olive oil and pour it into our bowl. If you want to measure so you make sure you don't put too much, you can start with about a tablespoon of olive oil. And so I'm just going to drizzle a little bit over the bowl. And then I'm going to add some salt and some pepper. And now you can use a spoon to mix this, or you can just use your hands. So we're just getting underneath and tossing everything together so it's all fully coated in the oil. And you want to make sure that you have even distribution of the spices as well. So there we go, everything looks pretty coated, and you can see that the pepper is all spread out on the zucchini. So we're just going to take this and pour it into our pan and spread it out so that way it's as even a layer as possible and that you're covering as much of the pan as you can. And this is such a great meal because it's going to be a one pan meal. The chicken's going to go right on top. And next we're going to prepare our chicken. So we haven't cooked with chicken before on Culikid, and so we'll just talk a little bit about safety. So you don't want to cross-contaminate, which means that you don't want the chicken to touch anything that it's not supposed to. And if the chicken does touch something, you want to make sure you clean it. And that includes your hands. So be really careful of noticing which hands you're using to touch the chicken and what else you're touching. So we are going to get started, and what you'll see is I'm going to use the knife with my right hand, so I'm only going to pick up the chicken with my left hand. And I have some paper towels here as well, and so you pat the chicken dry. Turn it over and do the other side. And that will make sure it gets crispier than if you didn't do that. And now we're going to slice the chicken breast in half. And so if you are working with a knife for the first time, or you're only comfortable using the child-safe Culikid knives, then this is something that you would want an adult to help you with, either now or beforehand. Those knives won't cut through the chicken very well, and so we're going to use a nice sharp knife. And the way we're going to do is put our hand on top to hold it down, and we're going to take the knife and put it in the center horizontally and just cut through the chicken to create two pieces. And you have two pieces of chicken. So we're going to do that for all of our chicken breasts, and then we're going to season them and put them in a pan. So again, I'm only touching the chicken with my left hand and everything else with my right hand. And this one is still a little thick, so I'm just going to do that again so they're all about the same size. And we'll pat dry the rest of our chicken. Okay, so I've laid out all the chicken flat on the cutting board so it's not overlapping anymore, and washed my hands so I can touch the salt and pepper next. So what we're going to do is just take a salt and pepper and sprinkle it over one side of the chicken. Then flip them over, wash our hands, and do the same thing. Okay, and now take the chicken and lay it on top of the zucchini in the pan, again in a single layer. And normally I'm cooking for two, but I have a little bit of a change of scenery today, and I am with some more family members. So we're cooking for 5 today, which is why we used 4 breasts of chicken. If it was for 2, I'd cut this in half and do 2. So do whatever size is right for you. And you guessed it, wash your hands again. And now we're ready to add our hummus. So open up your package of hummus, and this is where we'll use our spoon to scoop some out. So in total, you're probably using about a cup of hummus, but just see what you need. The important thing here is not to touch the chicken with a spoon and then go back into the hummus. So I'm going to just put some on it first, what I think it needs, and then spread it over. Okay, and now use the back of the spoon to spread it over the chicken. And I'm using plain hummus, but you can use whatever flavor hummus you want. If you want some roasted pepper, if you want some lemon, that'll just add more flavor to this. And now you can see I actually do need a little bit more, so I'm gonna go get a new spoon so we're not getting our chicken into the hummus, and then finish it off. And we're all set with the hummus. Next, we're just gonna add some lemon juice, lemon slices, and paprika. So I have another cutting board, or you could wash the other one that you were using. And we're going to take our lemon and cut it in half. And you wanna make sure not to get any seeds in here, so I'll just use my hands to catch any if they come out. And we'll just, oh, and I missed one. So just pick it out if you get one in. But if you can let the juice come through your fingertips and catch any seeds that come out. Like that. And for the other half. And then we'll take our squeezed lemons and slice them, and then stick our lemon slices in between the chicken. And lastly, we will sprinkle it with some paprika. And if your oven is preheated to 450, it's ready to go in the oven. And then we'll set a timer for 12 to 15 minutes and then check it to make sure the chicken is cooked through. Okay, so our timer just went off. So we used our oven mitts, took our chicken out of the oven, and made sure that the chicken is cooked. And you know it's cooked when it's 165 degrees, or you could cut into it and make sure that it's no longer pink inside. So now you're all set. You've just made some hummus crusted chicken with zucchini. Enjoy!